I see the same statistics? To be determined. I do think that there are people that are adapting really quickly, right? And they're jumping in with both feet. Like, think about this. These virtual open houses, right? As just, we're talking real estate sales agent kind of stuff. A virtual open house, and this is technology. How many people did we say, hey, you should do a Zoom buyer appointment with your clients 8 months ago? And they said, no, I need to do it in person. Now what's everybody doing? They're doing Zoom buyer appointments, and nobody's offended. Nobody's feelings are hurt, and everybody's great. And deals are happening over Zoom. Virtual open houses, if we do those and we build a system for those where we can say on average we have 125 people through your open house virtually, versus we can do a traditional old school archaic open house and have 0 people, 2 people, 4 people, 10 people through, we're going to set ourselves apart. So there's a lot of opportunity there. So the thing that I look at on the agent side is, are we going to see a mass exodus of agents? Potentially. I think the reality is the ones that adapt to the market and pivot and reinvent themselves faster are going to go steal market share, which does put the agents that don't at risk. So I remember a while back, we used to say, hey, because of technology, it's not unlikely that we would go from 1.2 million realtors to 500,000. And what's happening right now because of coronavirus, it's forcing people to get into technology, right? And so it's pushing that envelope a lot faster. So I do think we'll see a dropout because some people can't weather the storm because they're sitting on their sofa watching Netflix and saying, oh, poor me, I can't sell a house. Well, other people are saying, I need to sell a house. What do I need to do differently in order to sell a house? And they're figuring it out. So
love it. Interesting. So now, do you think that with the coronavirus dissipating in the near future, you think we're gonna adapt this virtual showings and virtual open houses? You think that's still gonna happen?
Yeah, I think so. I think what's gonna happen is there's gonna be people that prove the model, right? And so think about this, they go on, and this is gonna be across the board for every business, right? Everybody's figuring out how to be way more technology based. Everybody. I mean, a teacher at my son's school who's never been big on technology is now Zooming to the school children, kindergartners, right, to do their lessons. And she was freaked out saying, this is scary. I don't like doing video. I don't like the way I sound. I'm not good at technology. And she actually emailed the principal and said, do I have to do Zoom? Can I do a pre-recorded video and then something else? And the principal said, no, you have to do a Zoom. And guess what? She did a Zoom, and now she's super proud of herself for doing a Zoom. So there's got to be things that the technology is going to be here for a long time. So the virtual open houses, the way I go with that is, think about this on a listing presentation. If I can go up against another agent and just say, hey, what most agents do are those old school archaic open houses, and we actually have no way to predict how many people are going to come through your house. Could be 0, could be 40. We don't know. We don't know if Saturdays are better than Sundays. We don't know if 11 to 2 is better than 2 to 4. We just don't know. We could do one on 4th of July weekend this year, and then next year it'd be packed, and the next year be a ghost town. We just don't know. What we can do with a virtual is we can actually create a system to predict the amount of hits and views that we're going to get on an open house. And so we can use that data on a listing presentation to set ourselves apart from our competition. Now, what's the reason why we do an open house? We do an open house not to sell the house, because only 1% of homes sell from an open house. And so we do the open house, 1, to make our sellers happy, and 2, to generate leads, right? So if we're getting more people to view the property, are our sellers going to be happy? Absolutely. Then the question is, what are we going to do to generate leads from these virtual open houses? And that's an equation that people are working on figuring out right now. So if you think about this, at one point in history, nobody ever did an open house. And somebody tried it the first time and everybody said, that's crazy, it doesn't work. And then they proved it. And now, because it's been proved over decades, everybody goes, oh, open houses work. So if my first open house wasn't a success, I got to figure out how to make it better, because I know open houses work. Somebody's going to prove virtual open houses, and then they're going to say, I need to get mine better because I know it works because somebody else has done it before. So my whole thought process is, why wait till somebody else proves it? Go out and prove it yourself.
I love it. It just goes back to belief, right? Think about the man that first was the one to accomplish the 4-minute mile. No one thought about you could complete the 4-minute mile until he did it. Now
Yep.
There's countless of people doing it. So it's not what anything changed, is what belief changed, and that's what made everyone adapt to this new technology.
And you think about it, so you have the 4-minute mile, you have the first person to climb Everest, and all these people do it after, and then people say, hey, well, if you can do it, if you can climb Everest, period, and we can all do that, what would it look like to climb without gear, without oxygen, right? And so people start pushing the envelope. And so the whole thought process is, if I'm going to position myself, so just in any business, right? And we're talking about real estate here. If I talk to any realtor and they're looking at their database, and I ask them, how many people in your database do you think know more than just you as a real estate agent? What percentage? And most of them will say like 90, 95% of their database at least knows somebody else that sells real estate besides them. And the reality is, if we're not talking to our database in that first position, we're potentially going to lose that business. And so the same is true with the virtual open houses, everything. It doesn't have to be the best. You just have to be first.